How was that having a cellmate?
What's that smell in here? At the end of the day, there's a story to tell. There's a story to tell, guys.
A painful one. The honest truth of what happened in that jail cell.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the
Hi guys, and welcome back to Tymkwi. So, in the beginning-ish of our relationship in 2021, Tim decided, do you want to meet my parents? Yeah, sure, why not?
That was such a bold decision.
Yeah, so literally off we go to Poland. The first ever time that I've been to Poland, and it was magical. I loved it. It was the best 10 days ever.
Yeah, I was really happy. Yeah, as you said, it was 10 days. I was really happy to show you the place where, not only where I was born, but like where I grew up, where I went to school, different places where we were going to swim every summer and stuff, the town center, and it was nice to just come back there with your non-Polish girlfriend.
Yeah. So even visiting Poland for the first time was, I didn't know what to expect, but I still had an amazing time meeting all his family and some of his childhood friends, and it was an amazing time. But that is not even why we are here. What happened in the end of our trip was Tim's family had a car that they weren't really using.
When we were there, we were borrowing it and going here and there because the car was with the wheel on the right side, just like in Ireland and the UK. And we really didn't want to leave. We just wanted to stay even for just one day longer.
Yeah.
So we got this deal with our parents where we just bought the car with them and simply drove back to Ireland.
Getting straight to the point, guys, we drove from Poland to
Czech Republic. We stopped there for like a day or two, I don't remember now.
From Prague, we went straight to
Germany. I mean, technically, we went to Germany.
Actually, we went straight through Germany.
That's what I was gonna say. But anyway, we went through Germany, and that's where from Germany we went to France. And that's where our story begins for you here.
Yeah. So when we arrived in France, we were already tired, and the reason why we drove to France and we took a longer route because we wanted to arrive in Paris because we both have never seen the Eiffel Tower before. Okay guys, so we're in Paris, and if you look behind me, you can see the Eiffel Tower. We're actually going to walk up there now, and someone actually just came up to us and said, hello, do you speak French? Actually, I feel like we're in Emily in Paris right now. Don't you? No? Yes, I feel like I'm in Emily in Paris right now. Oh, I bet. Bit of construction, so the Eiffel Tower hasn't been open for about 6 months. 6 months. The Eiffel Tower has been closed because of the pandemic. But yeah, so I've been to Paris, Disneyland Paris, which is kind of outside of Paris, but never central Paris.
And I've never been to Paris ever. Like, in fact, that was my first time in France. That's where Tim, the same Tim that is speaking to you now, got the best idea ever you can imagine.
And that's sarcasm for the worst idea in the world.
So basically, Tim, in his all might and power of his mind, he took out the drone right up at the Eiffel Tower and he decided, let's film.
We find ourselves starting from scratch, brick by brick. No path carved out for us now. The brush is thick. All I'm asking now
I love the way that you're talking about yourself in the third form. Like it wasn't you that did this. It was you that decided this, not Tim. Third person clone. Tim flew his drone, he used up 1 battery pack for the Eiffel Tower. That wasn't enough for him. He continued filming.
1 battery is around 25 minutes.
Yeah, so all the while I was looking around in Paris, and this was the time of the panorama. So it was kind of interesting because we started to see people run around, people that would sell goods. I'm sure you know that if you've ever been to Paris, there's a lot of people selling things like little souvenirs, bracelets, cups, and touristic stuff that people may or may not buy. And these people were actually running, and we were seeing the police around running after them. And all of a sudden I was thinking, should we be here?
And as she said it, I was landing the drone, but then she asked me this question and I was like, the last battery left, we surely should be here. So then I just changed battery, I saw that she was a little bit scared, and I went to fly.
I wasn't scared.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't scared.
You were asking questions at the time. So
I was annoyed because I only wanted to see the Eiffel Tower. I didn't actually want to film there.
Yeah. So that's where I took the drone for the last time, because it was the third last battery, and I decided, let me fly one last time. And that's where the problem began. I was somewhere in the mid-air, somewhere there, and then all of a sudden there is like 20 blue guys surrounding us, running towards us, and they were just asking.
No, I wouldn't say they were running.
That's where I realized.
Yeah, they were walking. There was about 15 to 20 policemen that surrounded us. So to my astonishment, I was thinking, what's going on? Like, what is happening? Why did there need to be so many of you guys around us?
And I was wondering, like, did they break any law? But little did I know that this little drone will take us, actually not me even, us, through so much trouble. So the guys, as they were running, the policemen, when they were running to us, they were asking, is that a drone? I said yes. They said land it immediately. So
they weren't like that. I think that, like, from our perspectives on this story, we are seeing things two different ways.
You got Tim's point of view, Ekwi's point of view.
We're surrounded by 20 policemen, and then afterwards they started asking us a few questions. I wasn't sure if it was a joke because they were laughing and they were very friendly about the situation, and they asked to look at the drone and see the drone, and they also asked if we had a license for the drone.
They asked, do I have license? Then they took out the batteries. They took all the serial numbers of the batteries of the drone. Then they took my SD card. They asked me where's the serial number, and you know, guys, if you ever had to do with the videos or anything when you're recording, there's no serial number on the car.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't know. So what they did is they took it all from me, and they invited us, let me put it this way, they invited us to this big blue van.
That's the sound of the police! That's the sound of the beast! That's the sound.
I was like, can we at least like secure our car, park it somewhere safe? They're like, no, you just come for a few questions in the station.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Yeah, so we entered their van because we can't refuse, and we didn't know the laws or anything like that. And they'd asked us to come in their van, and we said, well, I said at first, do we have to? And they said, you have to because you have broken the law. You've flown a drone over the Eiffel Tower, which is illegal. So this could have been deemed as well as a terrorist attack. Don't want to say the word, but you know what I mean. And so we got to this.
PA.
Yeah. So we got to the police station, which is a little bit outside of the city of Paris. And at that point, I was concerned and worried.
Yes.
They took our phones, our cameras, everything.
Everything they took from us. There was just one guy who was speaking English, and the rest weren't.
Yeah.
And so we were there with him, and I was pretty scared. And I remember is that I was asking you questions, and you were so calm. You were saying that everything will be all right. What I didn't know is that you were scared too.
Yeah, that's just the way of having a poker face. Like I literally, like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna start screaming and running around like, oh Lord Jesus, is a fire?
I said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Then I ran out, I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus.
You know, like I can't do anything. I can't say anything that can change their mind to let us go. And I didn't know who to call or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
it's that situation where we both pretty much were at the same time, first time. And they basically, after like few hours of uncertain of what's going on, they
then decided to keep us.
Yeah, to lock us in the
cell.
In the cell.
And that's how we ended up in a jail cell in Paris. And I kid you not, it wasn't any fancy jail cell. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, it was, thank you for your services. I mean, we were looking for accommodation near France, but I didn't think we would have free accommodation that day.
Yes.
Yeah, but I was pretty much freaking out the whole time. I would go to the toilet a lot of the time because, I don't know, I just needed to pee all of a sudden every single time. And the police guards were so sick of me. They were so sick of me. I was like, if you're so sick of me, let me go. Let me go. They even were so sick of me at some point that they actually left my cell door opened.
Bruh.
And a part of me was like, I mean, should I just walk out of here? Like a part of, and then I was like, I could get in like worse trouble for actually just leaving. And then I said hi to one of the police women that walked past, and she was just like, the door's open, and closed it.
What I also didn't know is because at some point, obviously, we were drinking a bit of water, and I just wanted to go pee-pee. What I didn't know is that I can't do that in the cell because the water system.
No, guys, these are old French jail cells. So they've never been renovated for many, many years. So the toilet, the sort of metal basin toilet that was there wasn't actually for use. It was just
for
something,
display?
I guess display or something that has been there for years that they have never changed. But across from Tim Cell was a huge sign that said toilet. So I'm so surprised.
The funniest part about this is I did my pee-pee, right? And then after I did it, there was the guy who was with me there all the time, but he went apparently somewhere out with the guards. And so when I finished, after like half an hour, he came back and he was like, what's that smell in here? And then
In French.
In French, yeah. Yes, no, so he then talked to the guard, and then after that he said, you don't pee here. And I was like,
well, it's too late for that.
I was like, yeah, too late, but okay, I will know if I want to go for number 2.
Long story
Short.
Whatever, guys, we're just gonna tell you exactly what happened, the honest truth of what happened in that jail cell.
Yeah.
Okay? First of all, if you're going to jail, don't expect that they're gonna even offer you water or even anything to eat. They gave, I think, an orange juice in the morning. It was like a little small carton. I come from Ireland.
It's a carton. I just got a little plastic cup. Very little.
Oh, I got a carton. We were in both different cells, so we didn't know.
Even though I asked, can I be with my girlfriend in one dress? I didn't know.
No. So I got a little carton and these little 2 biscuits.
Yeah.
And I ate it in like 2 seconds. And then I said, oh, when is the breakfast coming? And they said to me...
And that's where they came in with croissants. No, obviously. What did they say?
That is the breakfast.
Yeah.
That's considered a French breakfast. And I was like, I am not a petite French woman, okay? I need my scrambled eggs, sausages, baked beans, I need food. Because if you think about it, we've been traveling through all these countries, especially through Germany to go to France, without properly like eating a lot. So when we got there for 30 minutes at the Eiffel Tower, then we got arrested and we still haven't eaten.
Bruh.
And we're getting questioned, we still haven't eaten. So I personally don't think that they care or considered people's like, I could have even passed out in that jail cell because I was so thirsty and hungry. Yeah.
Yeah, that was, we were there for like 18 hours, I think. I'm just gonna say, because we were stopped in the evening, just to give you a little bit of time frame, around 9 p.m. and at around next day, around 10 a.m. They took me upstairs
For questioning
with like
the detective.
Yes, and then the detective, it was like, I didn't know what to expect, but guys, now think about, so I'm there, I'm pretty scared. And first question I'm asked is, are you
a terrorist?
Are you a terrorist? I was like, what? I said, well, no. And it was like proper 1.5 hour of asking this type of questions.
Yeah.
What kind of connections do I have? That they checked the footage from my drone. Was I taking pictures of the buildings, of the people? What did I want? What am I doing? Then they were asking, she's British, you're Polish. What are you doing in Paris? And I said, well, the same thing that everyone does. I came to Disneyland and I
came to the Eiffel Tower. Basically.
I came to the Eiffel Tower. They put me back
in the cell, so that they did cross questioning. So they brought me after, and they also asked me similar questions. And actually, the detective said to me, "This is my first drone case," and that made me feel so confident. I was like, "I'm happy to supply this, service to you." I didn't even fly the drone, so I don't even know why I'm here. And the detective actually apologized to me and told me that he hopes this doesn't change my view in Paris.
It did. It did, guys. I'm really sorry, but it did.
I actually thought that from saying that, he would say, how about you wait on the bench and just wait for us to round this up, because we can tell that this is deemed as negligence, as you didn't know all the laws driving through the Schengen countries. No, they told me to go back in the cell and wait. And
as you were waiting, they took me out again. They took me to a room where they took the pictures of me with the thing, like on the movies.
A mugshot.
Yeah.
A mugshot.
And then they took my fingerprints of me. And from there, I think, because we're pretty much rounding it up.
Yeah, I believe that was like a warning, like don't do that again.
Yes, well, it wasn't just a warning.
And they banned him.
I'm literally banned from flying a drone in whole France for the next 5 years. That's how it rolls.
But I'm not dare going near Paris with anything like that again. I don't even know if I will bring out my iPhone there.
I don't even know if I will go near Paris, but...
No, I won't go to Paris again. At the end of the day, Paris is beautiful. It's a shame we didn't get to see it very well. It's a shame we didn't get to explore its history the same way we got to explore Greece.
It's a shame that we didn't eat a proper croissant there. In fact...
We got a prison croissant.
What?
Or a jail croissant.
Yeah. No.
We think we broke a few speeding laws just to get out of there.
That's what I didn't want to say, but yes, we did. That is the story of how we got locked up in a jail and of how you shouldn't be flying a drone unless you have the permissions for that.
And you. Especially you.
Obviously me.
Moral of the story, guys, when driving and traveling through any country, make sure that you read the laws before you do something. okay, you may not know the laws when you're traveling through many countries that are connected, but even just briefing yourself, let's say you want to fly a drone, find out the information about that. I think some drones even alert you in some places of where you can and cannot fly.
Yeah, mine did. At the end of the day, there's a story to tell. There's a story to tell, guys.
A painful one. How was that having a cellmate?
Huh?
How was that? Because I had no one in my cell, so I was alone. So.
No, it was actually, guys, pretty funny, like in the movies, because the minute I entered, the guy was taller than me, but I'm bigger, like bulkier, you know? So the minute I entered the cell, he stood up against the wall and he wouldn't let me go off his side. I'm not joking.
It's interesting the reaction with men when they're in cell.
Yeah, so I was just like, I'm just gonna lay down. The guy was like, I think he was younger than me. He was like, he looked 19, 18, you know. So I just took my mat and I was just like, let me mind my own business, and that was it basically. The only time we spoke was about the toilet, and that's it.
Though we didn't expect to be in jail in the first place, it was one of those things that can either make or break your relationship, I would say.
Seriously?
I mean, we had definitely a Bonnie and Clyde moment, I would say.
Bonnie and Clyde.
But yeah, the next time you get caught by a police guard and they offer to go to jail, I'll be like, you can take him. You can take him.
So, this is our story. This is how we're gonna leave you guys with that. You can comment down below if you have any more questions that are interesting, more or less, or if we can answer you in any way. Apart from this, don't fly the drone in France, please, in Paris. Then do please let us know, and let's meet up next week again.